red light. I'm a little ticked off now because I done gone up all these flights of stairs and the key not working. I'm a little evangelically ticked off. I go back downstairs, and so he says, I'm calling my church. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 10 says, God checks with the church before he deals with the principalities and powers. He checks with the church first. He will not skip the church house to fix the White House. He doesn't ride the backs of donkeys and elephants. He doesn't start with the politics of the world. He doesn't start with the House of Congress. He checks with the church house. And if the church house is not right, you can forget the White House. He starts with the church. And it's rock, the workers. He says, I will build my church. And then he says, and I will give it the keys to the kingdom. Don't misread that. Not the keys to the church. The church does not have any keys. The keys belong to the kingdom. I've written 151 books. Most of them deal with the kingdom because that's God's plan in history. The word kingdom is from the Greek word basileia, which means rule or authority. The kingdom is the rule of God over every area of life. In the kingdom, there is no distinction between secular and sacred. In the kingdom, everything is sacred because the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and all they that dwell in it. So there's no such thing as something that doesn't belong to God. So when we get Christians talking about, well, this is secular and this is sacred, that means they don't understand the kingdom. Everything in creation belongs to the king. Therefore, everything in creation belongs to the kingdom. God has given us keys to the kingdom. Now, what do keys do? They give you access. Access to your office, access to your car, access to your house. Keys give you access. Isaiah 22:22 says keys give you entrance. They give you access. Please notice, you ever been in a hurry and not been able to find your keys? I mean, you ain't going nowhere. Okay? I mean, you're not going. Or maybe you're like me. You got a lot of keys, but there's some of them on the ring and you don't even know what they go to anymore. So they're useless keys. I will give you the keys to the kingdom. Now, please notice, he's not giving you a key. He's giving you keys. Why is he giving you a key ring with a bunch of keys, not a key? Because verse 18 says, hell has gates. So for every hellish gate, there is a corresponding kingdom key. The corresponding key allows you to unlock a door from the kingdom of heaven in order to address a gate that has opened up from hell. But if you don't know what your keys are and you don't know what doors they unlock, when the gates are open, you can't stop what's coming out of it because you have not gotten the key to unlock the door of the kingdom of heaven. I was in New York. And I was in New York, and I'm at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. That's at Times Square. I'm there, I'm speaking, I check out because I got to fly to Chicago. It's freezing winter. I get to the Hilton in Chicago. When I get to the Hilton in Chicago, it's cold, I got my luggage, I go up to like 30 floors. I put the key in the lock. Click, click, red light. Click, click, red light. Click, click, red light. I'm a little ticked off now because I done gone up all these flights of stairs and the key not working. I'm a little evangelically ticked off. I go back downstairs. I go to the front desk. I said, excuse me, sir. This key don't work. He said, excuse me, sir. That key doesn't go to this hotel. See, I was using a Marriott key and a Hilton lock, and those kingdoms don't mix. See, we got too many churches using secular keys and wonder why doors won't open up. Because we're not using kingdom keys. We're using cultural keys, racial keys, political keys, gender keys, not kingdom keys. And those keys don't work in that lock. And that's why when churches abandon the Bible, they've abandoned God's involvement. There are two answers to every question: God's answer and everybody else's. And everybody else is wrong.
Yes, sir.
He says, I will give you the keys to the kingdom. And how do you know when you have kingdom keys? Well, he tells you. Because he says in verse 19, and whatever you bind on earth will have been bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed on heaven. Okay. Please notice, God's not doing the binding and loosing. He says, whatever you bind, I will bind. Whatever you loose, I will loose. I'm not doing the binding, I'm doing the backing up.
Right.
Because I want to see if what you're doing is what I want done. If what you're doing is not what I want done, I ain't backing you up. I'm not going to bind, that means restrict. I'm not going to loose, that means release. I am not going to help if what you are doing is not my key in my lock from my kingdom. I'm not going to do it. What God is looking for are churches who will look hell in the face and say, we have, binding and loosing means authority. It means the right to, until there's a 400-year gap between Malachi and Matthew, and after 400 years, God decides, let me come on down here and take care of this mama myself. And so Jesus Christ enters into human history. And he says, I'm going to build a clientele who are going to represent me. You know, he said, I'm chaplain of the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I go all the way back to Tom Landry. So I was go back to Tom Landry. So back in those days when I was a lot younger, when they did their pre-workouts, I would work out with the team. So I'd catch balls from Roger Staubach, and I'd run patterns with Tony Dorsett and Drew Pearson, and I would get out there with them, and I learned some of the plays. And one of the plays, there is a fly pattern. Now, fly pattern for you non-football people is when you try to score a touchdown in one play. Quarterback gets the ball, he backs back, the receiver runs down the field, and your quarterback throws the ball because he wants to score a touchdown in one play. It's called a fly pattern. But when they call a fly pattern, they would simultaneously call a waggle. A waggle is when the halfback, Tony Dorsett, would peel off to the side in case there's a blitz. A blitz is when the other team, linebacker or defensive back, sneaks in the back and tries to tackle the quarterback.